ever just get that weird feeling when someone does something that just might result in them betraying you? Well, I do. You see, the other day, my video game therapist, August, recently told me that he was going to be in a documentary about white boys who talk about video games. And trust me, he talks about video games. Despite only playing 2 in his entire life, though, which is odd. But here's the thing, I've been worrying about him talking about my misfortunes in gaming specifically. And I can't deal with that. What if people, I don't know, Lord forbid, watch my Danganronpa Let's Play? No one watches that, and it's the norm. Him talking about it could result in possibly millions of people watching a white boy play a video game. Oh. And to be entirely honest, this experience reminds me of a certain plot twist in Mega Man 5. Wait, why don't I just talk about that to take my mind off of August possibly revealing I was peer pressured into playing a video game from 2010? God damn it, I need to write these ideas down! Mega Man 5 came out on December 4th, 1992 in Japan, December 1992 in the States, and sometime 1993 in Europe. Was it January 1st? Who knows? I sure as hell don't, I'm just summarizing the non-game part of the Wikipedia page. Keiji Inafune, who's credited as King in the game's credits, guided his supervisor and other team members working on the game to avoid it being unreasonable and an affront to players. He summarized his work on the game as being fun, but that there were troubles with the designs, balance, and colors. To touch more on the design part of that claim, Mega Man 5 had over 130,000 submissions for its design contest, which was 57,000 more than Mega Man 4. But of the winning boss's designs, there was trouble in getting the designs approved, with most of them needing to be redesigned. Mega Man 5 did manage to get positive reactions from online and physical publications, with many critics loving just about everything the game had to offer. It's also like for being easy, meaning you could probably get a newborn baby to play, beat, and maybe even speedrun it. However, it was felt that Mega Man 5 didn't innovate on gameplay and storytelling, with Jeremy Parish considering it a painfully phoned-in episode lacking not only innovation, but pretty much all the polish and balance that made the older game so enjoyable. God, what is it with this guy? Falling off the rails, and this doesn't even innovate. What's next? The sky should be hot pink? Ugh, look at that. Like Procter & Gamble wanted to hyper-advertise Pepto-Bismol. And it worked! On the bright side though, Mega Man 5 was re-released on a bunch of other consoles, like the PlayStation, GameCube, Xbox, PlayStation 2, Wii, Wii U, and 3DS Virtual Console, PSN in Japan, the Mega Man Legacy Collection, and Yahoo Mobile! Who the hell would want to play a 2-hour game on a phone with buttons smaller than an eraser head? In terms of the box, the front one is fine. Like, besides Mega Man getting shot at by Gravity Man and Proto Man, but he's only doing something about Gravity Man, is all I feel like talking about. A very run-of-the-mill, not eye-catching cover. The back, however, is where things get interesting. Proto Man has apparently gone berserk and destroyed half the city, and even kidnapped Dr. Light, holding him and the entire city hostage. Bane vs. Proto Man. I want to see that matchup, power scalers. Mega Man, as always, is to the rescue, but 8 cybernetic soldiers plan to send him to the scrap heap for good. Then it tells us about Gravity Man, Stone Man, and Wave Man, and encourages us to help Mega Man to defeat the 8 robots and get ready for the sibling battle of the century. Now you see why I was reminded of Mega Man 5? Mega Man betrayed Mega Man, the city, Dr. Light, me, you, this cool rock I have. And what if he's actually evil and working for Dr. Wily, and his betrayal in Mega Man 4 was just a trick and he's really betraying us? And what if August is gonna bring her to time Glacio from Punch-Out, but specifically Glacio from Punch-Out, where it made me question my romantic identity? God damn it, I just need to play the game that's gonna eat at me until I convince him otherwise. The year is 20XX80. Annual Daniel, my main channel, subscribe to it. And a vicious army of robots is hell bent on destroying the world. And behind the destruction is apparently Proto Man. And just, God, what a great intro. The scene where Proto Man and the Robot Mouse is split up, and when Dr. Light gets kidnapped with Mega Man catching Proto Man's scarf. God, great intro. I like it, and just wish that it took up more of the screen. One of the only really new things about Mega Man 5 is that now, stuff is powered up. So the Mega Buster, for example, lets the charge shot get more powerful with a longer projectile and shorter charge time. And the special project is actually a new weapon / ally. In all 8 Robot Master stages, there are a few letters: M, E, G, A, M, A, N, and V meaning 5. You actually spell Mega Man 5 over the first half of the game, and collecting all 8 gives you beat. And if you miss any, You can replay the level to collect it, and or follow lives, but you didn't hear that from me. Shout out to the one under the ladder in Gravity Man stage. Beat was originally thought of all the way back in Mega Man 3, but they introduced Rush instead. We all saw me review that game when we noticed. His design was actually the only one approved on the first draft. How Beat works is that he does the attacking for you, going after the nearest enemy to you, meaning all you need to do is focus on dodging instead. Very useful for boss fights. Foreshadowing. But like Rush, he also needs rep and energy to work. But there aren't really that many new things, like how 3 introduced sliding and 4 introduced charging. But for what it's worth, I think a better charge and beat somewhat make up for the lack of new stuff. Like you basically have an auto aim in this game. Not many would do that, but enough of my yammering over a board. The Robot Masters this time are Stone Man, Gravity Man, Crystal Man, Charge Man, Napalm Man, Wave Man, Star Man, and Gyro Man. And the selection screen doesn't reuse the Mega Man 2 theme, but instead went a new and improved one. I also just feel like the selection screen is just more in tune with Mega Man's stage design, with there being 2 parts that come down and meet in the middle, revealing the Robot Master. Sadly, though, I think I ruined the screen because of my first playthrough of Mega Man 5. I held it so much that all I can see in my head is the edited versions of all 8 Robot Masters. Gravity is a myth, and I refuse to believe in it. Gravity Man's stage takes place in a gravity research institute that hopefully specializes in proving it isn't real. The stage is full to the brim with storage crates, magnets, machinery, and has the gimmick of changing gravity. There are giant green panels with red arrows that change your gravity based on how the arrows are pointed. So if it's pointing up, it's reversed, and if it's pointing down, gravity goes back to normal / stays the same. It also changes how sliding works, as it requires you to press up to slide and not down. The enemies in this stage are Susie G, Graviton, Nobita, Tekyon, B-Biddle, Power Muscle, Pukapelli, and also, while it isn't an enemy, these spikes right before the boss fight can go suck an eggshell membrane. It's very Kaiser-esque on your first and second playthrough, in the sense that you can't react fast enough to avoid it, even with the second of screen scroll. At the very least, fighting Gravity Man is easier to deal with than Kaiser Cole spikes. He moves up and down, changing both of yours and his gravity, in between that he hops them to move, and he also shoots his Buster, the shots being loosely aimed at you. I find finding him annoying as it's a bit tricky to hit him, but shooting quickly when his head touches a solid dark cyan ball seems to work well. It's a lot better than charging the Mega Buster in my opinion, just easier to consistently hit him without the charge is all. After defeating Gravity Man, and the rest of the Robot Masters, Mega Man spins around some before the selection screen changes color. Here, we get the Gravity Hold, an item that is way too OP, changing the gravity for enemies. It's basically kinda like Mega Man's 5 version of the Superstar from Mario games. Gyro Man is not actually about the Greek sandwich. Instead, Gyro Man is themed about helicopters, his stage taking place in a hanging garden held by propellers and giant corkscrew platforms, and in his design, having a rotor and landing skid on it. His stage also has spinning platforms, collapsing platforms, and at least 2 elevators. The second one also has spikes on it, making it a threat, which I like. Not just so it stands out from the first ride, but also so that way you need to be alert, be aware. The enemies in this stage are the Takenpaken, Pukapelli, Gary, Lyric, Coco, Kuro, Twin Cannon, Power Muscular, Kyokyo, and Tondio. God, I love how the Coco and Kuro are so great for farming items. It really feels like they were made for it. The Pukapellis, however, holy fucking shit. I hate trying to fight them. You need to jump just high enough to hit them, meaning you can easily overshoot or undershoot them. Gyro Man, thankfully, is a very easy boss fight. He starts by jumping into the clouds, throwing a gyro attack every so often, but spamming the gravity hold makes him way too easy. It only took me about 25 seconds to do. But after defeating Gyro Man, we get the gyro attack and rush jet. The gyro attack lets us fire a green propeller that can change direction by pressing up and down on the D-pad. And the rush jet is... the rush jet. Duh.
Oh, hey, kid, you wanna buy these crystals?
No. Why?
Shit, how am I gonna get this loser to give me Dr. Scam money? Oh, I got it! If you lick it, the crystal will grant you your wildest dream.
My wildest fantasy, huh?
So if my wildest fantasy was to rule a continent in an eye after mouth and I'm a Scream-esque dictatorship, it would work? Which continent? Antarctica. Those fucking penguins have had it good for too long. Sure. It will. It definitely will. Oh boy! Those penguins are gonna be in for a real bad day now! Now so something free can never happen! His day is definitely gonna be ruined.
Crystal Man stage takes place in a crystal mine, and is obviously full of giant pillars with robotic crystal capsules inside. There are also crystal dispensers in the stage, which definitely are not a little bit annoying with the fact there's random breaks in between how many crystals can fall. The stage looks great. The colors are pretty, I like how the crystals actually look like crystals tenfold, and this is probably in my top 3 stages in the game. The enemies in this stage are Puka Puckle, Kamen, Crystal Joe, Fujin, New Shield Attacker, Bombio, Mousubel, Subel, and Power Muscular. Like the Coco and Kuro, the Kamens are kinda good for farming items with, but at least here it's a bit trickier. And I don't think the Bombios fit well in this stage. Like, why on earth would a flying enemy carrying a bomb make sense in a stage full of crystals? Don't bring up how the Mega Man wiki says they were originally for sediment transportation, now they have a new explosive use. Crystal Man stage is also the 4th stage, at least in this playthrough, with a new item, the M-Tank. It is an insanely overpowered item that restores not just your health, but both your health and weapon energy. To balance this, Capcom made it so that way you can only hold one, meaning that once you have one, more won't show up unless you use the M-Tank you have. There were also M-Tanks in Stone Man stage, and 3 of the last 4 stages in the game. Crystal Man's boss fight has him move around only with jumps, landing around the center of the stage. But if you're close to him, he'll pause, charge up a single shot, and fire it, loosely aiming at you. But if you're far away, he jumps into the air, shooting 4 crystal balls using his crystal eye, something he always uses at the start of the fight. Keeping his distance just to attack when it's safe, and or using the gyro attack is definitely the best way to handle this boss fight. After defeating Crystal Man though, we get the crystal eye itself. It shoots out a big crystal orb that splits into 4 smaller orbs when it hits a wall. Napalm Man stage takes place in a country called Vietnam. No! In a dense jungle, full of palm trees. Later having you enter purple caves, ending with you being in a hidden military base. In the caves, there are these rolling drills and slow-moving water, kind of like the water in Totem stage actually. But any vertical water doesn't push you, and all of the water doesn't cover any entities. The enemies here are the Sumatran, Metal Cannon, Taban, Rolling Drill, Subi, Apache Joe, Udon, Jet Bomb, Power Muscle, Missile, and Bomb Throne. I really forget how annoying the Udon is. Its missiles are so annoying. If you've ever had a fly buzzing around you that's impossible to kill, when you're not even considering a landing, great job! You have a 1-to-1 experience with the Udon's missiles. It's just so annoying, and why is the second one surrounded by spikes? I can't even dodge the missiles without the Udon respawning. What's even worse is the jet bombs. Fuck, they're annoying. They explode into 4 pieces if they hit your shots, 3 if they hit a wall, but it's just... ugh! The angle of split pieces is annoyingly difficult to dodge. Just fucking bullshit of an enemy. 0 out of 10, not worth my time coming up with a good insult. Fighting Napalm Man does make up for having some of the most annoying enemies in this game though. To start, he has 2 distance-based attacks, one being far away involving him shooting out 3 missiles from his head in a straight line, and if you're close to him, shoot out 2 napalm bombs in an arc, the 2 of them landing close to you, but if you touch his surface they'll explode. He also closes the distance between you and him by jumping at you. Shooting a crystal eye and just... waiting works great since you're guaranteed a hit with how the crystal eye works. After defeating Napalm Man, we get napalm bombs ourselves. Using it shoots out 1 napalm bomb that rolls about before exploding if it hits an enemy or after a few seconds of not hitting anything. Oh, and if it hits a wall, it changes direction.
I have a fear of heights. I would not like Stone Man stage. Why? Well, it's simple.
Stone Man stage takes place in the caves of a high mountain, with there being outside sections too. The stage is apparently the longest, but I don't see it. Like at all. But I don't know, I spent 30 minutes farming for stuff way later in the game and my sense of time is always messed up. What do I know? The levels mainly focus on combat, but the splitting platforms are here.
and there's even some hidden items throughout the stage, which I honestly really like. There aren't that many though, this isn't a Zelda game. The enemies in this stage are the Metal Mommy, Baby Metal, Taben, Subi, Akron, Huyan 427, Mouseball, Lyric, and Tatepakan. This stage also has another hidden path to a life, the first one being for the G-Plate, which is rather easy to get. It's a bit harder to access since you need the rush coil to get to it. But since you start off with the rush coil, who the hell cares? You need to be an idiot to not realize that's how you get it. Also, I'm weirdly a fan of getting this E-Tank here since the spinning platforms move quick, so you need to jump off of it before it takes you away from the E-Tank. The boss fight for Stone Man, however, is easy. Kinda. Stone Man will always jump towards and land close to you, his small one helps him move around, and his big one makes his screen shake when he lands, though it doesn't stun you. If you're far away from him, he'll use the Power Stone, which in this case sends 2 stones out in a circular orbit, but they despawn once they touch the border of the screen. What I do is stay close to him, using the napalm bomb before he crumbles into a pile of flicks like it was a part of a building demolition. After defeating Stone Man, we get the Power Stone, and it's actually better for us. Huh. That's the first time a weapon has been stronger after we get it. It sends out 3 stones in a circular orbit, which is 1 more than Stone Man had. The Charge Man stage takes place at a train station, then later on top of and inside a freight train. It's incredibly unique and creative with its theming. Love to see that. The enemies here are the Rambukan, Metal K1000, Lyric, Coco, Korokoro, Mousebell, Taben, Bomb Throne, and Udon. It was actually around here that I noticed a good chunk of the stages in this game have their color palette revolve around green, yellow, purple, and red. And I could complain about how restricting that is, but I find that to be a double-edged sword. On one hand, you need to make 8 or so different color palettes from those 4 colors, and restriction breeds creativity, and on the other hand, you need to make 8 color palettes with only 4 colors. So just keep this thing with the color palette in the back of your pocket, I'll come back to it later. Fighting Charge Man is annoying. He starts with using the charge kick to quickly get close to you, being invincible or using it, then walking toward you, and using the charge kick if he's close, or shooting hot coal from his chimney, having 3 pieces of it fall from above in predetermined positions. Going back to walking if he's close, or charging if he's far away, all he can really do is dodge his attacks and use the Power Stone in hopes it'll hit him. But being directly above him nearly always guarantees you hitting him with the Power Stone. After defeating Charge Man, we get the Charge Kick, which lets us kick as we slide. I feel like the item is useless, besides battling Wave Man in the next stage, but apparently it makes you immune to some attacks and traps like stage hazards in the next stage. Also, I didn't know how to use it my first time here, but that's on me. I am D-U-M-B dumb. Wave Man stage takes place in and out of a water quality management reservoir. Starting in rows before moving outdoors, this stage has a ton of gimmicks, mainly with tech yuns, high pressure seam, yellow tubes that take you across different paths depending on the one you enter, and bubbles that you need to rise to the top of the stage for the inside part, and the outside part having you ride the rod over the remaining bike, turning the stage into an auto-scroller, which, more on this later, where you can only move left or right, and you can't pause. There's also the game's only mid-boss here. The enemies here are the Octopur OA, Gas, Tekyun, Giri, V, Raidojo, Irukuna, and Twin Cannon. This stage is littered to the brim with gimmicks, but the main focus is on the outside part, where you ride the rod over the marine bike. I love this gimmick. Unlike in Mega Man 4, this auto-scrolling section feels right. Action-packed, has a reason for existence, transitions into it nicely, but it isn't easy and it's actually pretty difficult. The fact you can't pause playing a role in this. But it's so incredibly different from everything else in the game that it kinda makes me wish more if the game had these big in-your-face gimmicks like this. Fighting Wave Man is... weird. Even though his stage is water-themed, water here, water there, coming from this, coming from that, my body, etc., he's fun on land. He has 3 actions that he cycles through, the first one being to plant his buster in the ground to release a water wave similar to the steam. They appear in front of you if you stand still and are honestly easy to dodge. The second one then involves him shooting a big harpoon straight to you, after which he jumps high into the air, trying to land in front of or on you. He also repeats his actions after doing this jump. He is very easy to defeat because all you do is slide into him when he doesn't have invincibility frames. A very easy boss. Very complex.
After defeating Waveman, we get the Water Wave, which can shoot out 3 small water spells across the floor, but they can only be fired when you're on the ground, and they stop when an hit enemy that's strong enough to tank the hit, or if they hit a wall. The Starman stage takes place on an abandoned satellite base orbiting Earth, and since it's in space, the stage has floaty gravity throughout its entirety. The first room has an asteroid storm going on, and towards the end there are pink platforms that can go up and down, which are above a bed of spikes. The enemies in this stage are the asteroids, Bounder, B-Beetle, Tundle, Jet Bomb, Dachshund, Space Metal, Mizzle, and Toss Machine. But I don't have much to say before the boss fight with Starman. He'll bring out the Star Crash, which is a shield of stars. You can't however shoot through it if you stay very close to Starman. If you fall away however, he'll do a long jump towards you, but if you're close, he'll do a high jump and at its apex, might stop and launch the Star Crash towards you. But it moves slowly so you can easily dodge it. When it leaves the screen, Starman falls down and makes another, but if he doesn't launch it, he lands and may hop before firing his shield. Defeating him is really easy, as the Water Wave avoids the Star Crash entirely. After defeating Starman, we get the Star Crash and Super Arrow. The Star Crash is literally the exact same as when Starman had it, and the Super Arrow can be used to make platforms by sticking to the wall, and it can be used as a weapon.
Now, like with Mega Man 4, Mega Man 5, unsurprisingly, has a boss road.
After defeating Starman, the square with Mega Man's face on it changes to show Proto Man's face, and selecting it shows us Proto Man's castle, which has 4 stages. Obviously, when we get to the end, we don't fight Proto Man, but instead we end the stages by fighting 4 separate Dark Men.
Maybe there's a secret 5th one where we fight Proto Man? I don't know, but that makes sense.
The first 3 Darkman robots are nothing special. One tries to shoot us from an overview, 2 can only create an electromagnetic barrier around him, and 3 fires rapid shots from his cannon, along with paralyzing ring beams from his chest. But 4 actually combines the 3 previous ones, making it the most powerful. I'm not the biggest fan of these stages. They're all pretty easy, and the fact we fight 4 of the same robot feels like it's annoying to try and memorize which one is weak to what. There is also one new enemy here, the Roundel. It's a flying robot that orbits you 3 times before flying away. They're a real nuisance since they can eat your shots. They also don't really attack you, but if you jump before they start circling around you, they can damage you. The first Darkman stage has you inside the castle walls as it becomes night. This is the stage that introduces a Roundel, and it also has some tricky enemies like the Tundle, Symmetrin, Gary, Pyrian 427, Silbel, Rimbakun, Trin Cannon, and Dachshund. I really like this stage. It's very pretty. I'm a fan of all of the pink. But the inside parts with the olive and dark green aren't the greatest to look at. But I understand game design enough to know that they did it like this to have it stand out from the outside sections and have the foreground stand out. Later in the stage there's some yellow to help make the latter half stand out from the former half. It works well in a weird way. Pink and yellow. Who would have thought they worked together?
Not me. I mean, I've only studied color theory to a minor extent, made over 400 thumbnails across 4 years for 4 separate channels, so clearly, I know nothing about color theory. Look at me, my walls are blue. Nobody who knows anything about color theory has blue walls.
The boss fight with Darkman 1 involves him moving forward some, shooting out a lone shot, then continuing to move forward once the shot leaves the screen. But if you hit him while he's walking, he shoots back in retaliation, this one being faster and aimed at you. Darkman 1 moves slowly, but when his health is halfway, he speeds up, being faster. Very easy boss, and with the Wave Blast it's even easier. The second Darkman stage takes you into the high-tech castle, and even into a dungeon. This stage is mostly focused on combat, but it does have conveyor belts in it. The enemies in this stage are the Giri, Tatapakan, Pukapelli, Metal K1000, Bomb-Eel, Crystal Joe, Graviton, Tondiel, Bounder, Metal Cannon, and Symmetrin. The olive here works a lot better, mainly since the foreground has more dull yellow tannish bricks. I also like how the spikes and ladders are still pink, so you know they're interactable. The boss fight with Darkman 2 is probably just as easy as Darkman 1's. All he does is walk towards you, his speed increases when his health gets under half, he also speeds up, but his main thing is to use his electromagnetic barrier to protect himself, meaning you need to time your shots so that way to hit him when the shield is down. The napalm bomb, crystal eye, and super arrow all work well for this, but the napalm bomb costs less than the other two. Another really easy boss. The third Dark Man stage takes us to the rooftops during night. There's towers and satellite dishes, but when we go into the castle there's spinning platforms and later snake blocks that follow a predetermined path above spikes and death pits. The enemies in this stage are the Apache Joe, Subeel, Haribun 427, Tabin, Takapekin, Lyric, Bommiel, Metal Cannon, Boundle, Pukapelli, Power Muscular, and Gyro. Yet another visually appealing stage. 3 in a row I win bingo, what a shock. I really like all the light blues and teal/coal in the foreground. Very, very nice. I don't have much to say about the stage before the boss fight, but Dark Man 3 is actually difficult. Shocker. I know. He has 2 attacks. If you're far away, he'll jump high into the air while staying in place and shoot 5 rapid fire shots, then falling down. But if you're close, he'll stop blocking and fire 3 slow moving rings that can paralyze you. If you dodge the rings, Dark Man 3 will just continue to throw them out until they hit you, but using the gyro attack makes this fight a lot easier. The only reason I find this boss fight to be difficult is because of the rings, and when Dark Man hits you, he takes 5 lines of health, meaning without any E-tanks or even an M-tank if you're desperate. You can only get hit 6 times before you die. Very dumb. Not a fan of not having some way of getting out of the state without getting hit. The final Dark Man stage is actually really unique. You go up a tower by destroying cracked blocks to make the ceiling lower down, but there's also spikes and the overarching threat of getting crushed to death. I really like this gimmick. Any other time we destroyed blocks in a Mega Man game, it kind of felt not pointless, but like it wasn't as big as a threat. But here, we need not spell our own downfall. The boss fight with Dark Man has Proto Man. After his whistle plays, Mega Man inspects Proto Man before he shoots at him, nearly killing him. Before the real Proto Man whistle plays? And the real Proto Man shows up, dodging the fake one's shots and shooting him? Revealing that the fake Proto Man was actually another Dark Man?
Wow. I can't believe I thought that Proto Man was the okay, I can't do this anymore. I knew he wasn't. I knew back when I first saw the intro, it doesn't make any sense. But who made the fake Proto Man? Wily. And we'll get to that in a second.
What in the hell?
Hi, August.
Why have you been sending me no daily?
Okay. You know how you recently told me you were going to be in a documentaries about white boys who talk about video games?
Yeah.
Well, I've been sending you a daily note in hopes you won't talk about the misfortunes that go through gaming. Like when I thought Minecraft creepypastas were real.
Yeah, I remember that. You tried to go Herobrine at 3:33 AM, but it was just one of those poorly made ad-for apps. But why would you even think I would talk about all of that stuff?
Because you're a video game therapist?
Yeah, I'm a video game therapist, but you're forgetting about the fact that I just can't start yapping about all of the mishaps you have in gaming.
Like when the crowbar from Half-Life 2 made me feel emasculated?
Like when the crowbar from Half-Life 2 made you feel emasculated. Yeah.
Well then, oh, hey, since I'm very close to finishing talking about Mega Man 5, do you want to sit and listen?
Sit and listen? Your COT is right there, not even looking at it.
So it is.
But, sure, I will. But first, what's up with Dad?
Dad?
Yeah, Dad. Why is he up there?
I don't know.
Okay, so after Proto Man reveals the fourth Dark Man, he gives Mega Man an L-Tank, healing us to full health. Dark Man 4 has a mix of the previous 3 Dark Man's actions. The electromagnetic barriers move faster, and he has 2 attacks. His first one being to shoot 3 fast buster shots, and another to release the barriers, which slide off screen, then returning after the first few seconds. But with using B, all you need to do is dodge Dark Man 4 in his various attacks. Unsurprisingly, having what's basically auto-aim makes the boss fight easy. Why would B even be in the game? He seems overpowered. I mean, he's not that overpowered. In most of the boss fights, he's actually pretty bad and does 1 damage.
But with this one, he does 3.
That he does. But in the next one, he does 0.
Then what the hell do you use?
Allow me, August.
Unsurprisingly, for the 3rd time now, Dr. Wily is the main antagonist. God, this is getting predictable. This time he shows up after we defeat Darkman 4, saying, "You've done well, Mega Man. I never expected you to defeat my powerful Darkman robot. Until now, I've managed to frame Proto Man for my crimes, but now the real Proto Man has appeared and spoiled my plan. Dr. Light is captive in my lab. Come, if you dare." Before he goes to his castle, starting the Dr. Wily Road. There's also no new enemies here, at most a Metal Swim, but those were in the previous game. Starting with Wily 1, we get sent straight inside the castle, and after a long jump with spikes in the same vein of a Happy Wheel spike fall, the conveyor belts return, now in groups or singular blocks. And the ceiling presses from Dustman Stage return too. It's still a lot of fun, and they move even faster than in the previous game. And of course, the enemies here are the Giri, Toss Machine, B-Biter, Taben, Pukapelli, Fujin, Metal Cannon, Kako, Koro, Lyric, and Tatapakan. The first boss fight of the Wily Road is the Big Pets. Its towery body here goes to the left side of the screen when shot, meaning you can ride them to get close to its head, and shoot it to damage it. But you can only shoot its head when its eyes are open, which is often, as that's when a part of its body is launched. However, during the battle, it'll shoot out 1 to 2 mini-robots from its head, so while you shoot and then right its body, damaging it, you need to dodge the mini-robots. Oh, and the body attacks you too. Don't get me wrong, this is a very challenging boss fight. So much so that someone's game bugged, resulting in the body of the Big Pets not showing, but he beat it! And I beat it too, it is not impossible. You mean the angry video game nerd?
Him? Yeah, him, right.
How the hell do you forget someone like the angry video game nerd? He has a movie!
Anyone can make a movie, August. Anyone. Now, if only people would watch my analog horror series, that definitely isn't just me playing Contra with a VHS filter over the footage.
You think an unedited Contra Let's Play so it counts as an analog horror series?
It's a hard game, that's scary.
It has one of the most iconic cheat codes in gaming.
That's besides the point, it'll work, just let me cook.
Fine. Just don't be surprised if it doesn't work at all. Wily 2 takes us into the basement, which just so happens to be flooded. This also means that the main gimmick here is all of the underwater sections. The enemies here are the Hirihen 427, Metal Swim, Gary, Metal Mommy, Baby Metal, Taben, Mouser Bill, Coco, Kuro, and Power Muscular. I really like how the opening looks with all of the purple, and silver, and teal. They work really well with each other. Color theory in the works here, folks. And the underwater section. It just looks even better. And the boss battle with the Serum Q9 is, kinda hard actually. To start, its weak point is its head, which these 2 flaps on both of its sides protect. They open up every now and then, which when riding the 2 platforms on the bottom gives you a direct shot at times. However, with its 2 movement patterns, this becomes a lot more tricky. To start, its first pattern has it move side to side in a wave and firing 4 orange orbs from its center towards you. During this pattern, the doors have a 50-50 chance to open, with its second one having it move in a zigzag pattern, sometimes going to the corner of the screen. Here, it fires a single shot from its mouth in the corners, but the flaps stay open for this pattern, meaning it's a lot easier to hit its head, and it goes back to the first pattern once it's finished with the second pattern. The gyro attack makes this fight a lot easier since we only need to hit the boss 7 times. Wily 3 mainly just involves you fighting all of the robot masters again. They're all basically the same as the first time we fought them since you get sent back to the respective boss room. The only one that's different this time is Gravity Man since now you have the Star Crash, meaning you can just sit next to Gravity Man as the 2 of you swap gravity. And of course, you get a power capsule for defeating each robot master, but it ain't that long before the first fight with Wily begins. Fighting the Wily Press has Wily spend most of the battle in the sky, moving from left to right, then stopping to attack you by crashing down somewhere. The only attack the floor rises, with it and Wily meeting in the middle, and Wily staying frozen just long enough for you to attack. He can only be hurt once before moving back up, and even though you should use the Star Crash,
I didn't have any weapon energy for it, so I just used the Mega Buster since I had the time needed to charge it. I can however confirm that the Cell Crash makes this fight a lot easier. Oh, and there's spikes here that you need to avoid during the fight, which I honestly like. It makes it more interesting than just moving back and forth. After traversing the last stage before the fight with Wily, we are in the final battle in the entire game. Starting with the Wily Machine 5, it stays on the right side of the screen unless attacked. In that case, it'll charge right at you before going back to its original spot. The machine has 3 attacks. One involves it using a magnet to pull it towards you, another one involves it shooting out a blue, slow or fast bouncy ball, both slow and fast when reaching the same height, and another one has it fire out 3 pink missiles under the score that go out in straight lines. It's very easy to dodge. You have to hit it in the mouth with the super arrow, but again, I used the Mega Buster since I ran out of energy. I have to say, this is a rather complex boss, and it is a lot harder than the Wily Capsule 2. The Wily Capsule 2 is stupid easy. It teleports around the screen, using the black background as a cover to hide its movement. It can show up anywhere but the center, and when it shows up, it does 2 attacks. First, it drops a pink orb that splits into 2 orbs, the duo traveling across the floor when it hits the ground, and then summons an orb shield, or the orbs circling around Riley before vanishing, with the orbs rotating around the screen, then joining up to disappear. But using Beat makes this boss fight stupid easy as he just goes to Wily when he's visible, meaning you just need to dodge the orbs, which is easy, but not when you have 2 lines left. There are even times where you can get Beat to target him as soon as you teleport, which I believe you can trigger by shooting while Beat is moving. Might be wrong though, but after 14 hits from Beat, we've defeated Dr. Wily for the 5th, and definitely not final time. Rather ominous way to warn that. I mean, it's basically safe to say that, August. I mean, it isn't like he would fake his identity just to try to do this whole song and dance again. Right? I don't know, you said he kidnapped a small child once before, haven't you? That he did. That he did. He would love Minecraft. After defeating Dr. Wily, Mega Man chases him all the way to Dr. Light, as Dr. Wily begs for mercy. Before then, Dr. Wily's castle starts to blow up, with the ceiling falling before Mega Man catches it. Wily, however, using this moment to escape, before Proto Man blows up some of the ceiling, allowing Dr. Light and Mega Man to escape. That makes no sense at all. No. No, it does not. Now that we're outside, we can see Dr. Light and Mega Man watch Dr. Wily's castle get destroyed, Proto Man watching the two, and Dr. Wily leaving his doomed castle before Proto Man slides off screen. Roll credits. Again. Are the endings always so lackluster? No, not always. The previous ones before now had some substance to it. And to be entirely honest, even though this game had a lot of gimmicks and unique ideas, see the Rolling Drills and Napalm main stage and Autoscroller segment Wave main stage for an example, something about Mega Man 5 just feels lackluster. Because I'm trying to think of iconic moments in Mega Man 5, the first thing that comes to mind is the Autoscroller segment and Wave main stage. Nothing else. I would have to do some heavy thinking about what the hell happened in this game to suddenly come up with something else. And to be honest, why is that the case? Mega Man 5 is definitely a good Mega Man game, don't get me wrong, but up until now I haven't had an itch to replay it. And I think that's because of 4 things. 1. The game milks the green, yellow, purple, and red color palette dry. 2. This is the 3rd time we've had to do 2 separate roads, one for the Fred and another for Dr. Wily. 3. There's no real interesting gimmicks besides 1. And 4. The themes of the stages are too similar to other Mega Man games. Crystal Man and Flashman stage both use crystals, the forest/jungle, caves, space. If anything, Chargeman stage is the only unique one with theming. And the color palette. I think the game is really suffering from that, cause it all just blends into one blurry gray line. Thinking about Mega Man 3, I remember so much more about it. All the Proto Man encounters, how nice Magnet Man's background was, the alternate stages with Dark Robot, etc. Its stages had variety in its color, and when Mega Man 4 the plot twist was actually surprising. I had no idea Dr. Kazakh had a daughter until then, but here's the thing. Once you introduce kidnapping as a crime your enemy does, it's only a matter of time before anyone can guess who the antagonist is when they send a goon out to kidnap someone again. For what it's worth though, Mega Man 5 does the job fine. Enemies are fun to fight, bosses are intense but not impossible, weapons are fun to use, and the level design is great, but it's just so forgettable. Like, maybe this is recency bias, but I recently played through Mega Man 7 on the SNES. My first playthrough is on my main channel, Animal Daniel, if you want to see my first impressions, by the way. And I remember so much more in that game than I do in Mega Man 5. Springman stage had a giant room full of springs, Shade Man stage was inspired by ghosts and goblins as ghosts and ghouls, Turbo Man stage was race-con themed, we burned down trees to save beat in Slash Man stage. I could go on and on, but I'll save that for the Mega Man 7 review. The point I'm trying to make is that I don't think Mega Man 5 doesn't innovate on the gameplay or storytelling, or lack polish and balance, but it is rather easy, and while that isn't a bad thing, it definitely doesn't make it stand out. To start, this game looks great. It blows me away thinking about how the NES went from Super Mario Bros. To this in the span of nearly a decade. And I already said the bosses are intense but not impossible. And with the story, we basically learned that Dr. Wily can make copies of robotic allies, so like... I don't know, man, imagine a fresh turned into Smile Dog or something. I know Mega Man 1 did this with the Mega Man clone, but having our allies betray us and not have it be a fake out would have been neat. In short, I feel like Mega Man 5 is an example of doing everything right, but just not standing out. It isn't the game's fault it can't stand out, but to me, Mega Man 4 is sort of the peak of the valley of the NES hexalogy. So for all of that and more, I'm gonna give Mega Man 5 7.5 out of 10 beat the boards. It's a good game, but it's just so forgettable. I forgot just how many little enjoyable things there were, but considering the fact that it has the shadow of Mega Man 4 to deal with, it feels more like Mega Man 4.5 and not Mega Man 5. If that makes any sense. And well, what about you, August? What do you have to say about Mega Man 5? I do not have enough information to properly judge the game, and it is not something that I specialize in. Well, I'll just assume you think similar something to what I think. Good, but not worth remembering. I don't know, I like the design of Wily Machine 5, I guess. And that's your opinion. But you're wrong, and they're wrong. And I'll make sure of it too, because no one is allowed to have an opinion that's different from me. Differing opinion from me, yeah. And you cried after you got banned from that one video game phone after you tried to start pleasing people's opinions. I said I was sorry! You said you would throw people's video game collections into a wood chipper if they didn't agree with you. Yeah, well, look at my bookshelf. Well, I gotta go. Because of, you know, the whole part of being a documentary thing. Yeah, I remember. Have fun. Don't rat out any of my secrets that I try to hide. I legally cannot. I'm gonna make him play a video game if he does. What, it's a threat. Ooh, fun noise from Big Rectangle. What the hell? How did that happen? August!